whole investment premise of investing now is that you feel, and I'm now speaking, categorically, I've put money in harm's way in crypto across now almost 50 projects and continuing to do so every week because I'm in the camp that says in the next 12 months, something's going to break on policy. I think it's going to be the Stablecoin Transparency Act first, but that in itself should open the floodgates because if you ask a big, let's just take a big Middle Eastern bank, I don't have to name the names, but they've got 5 million accounts with over $2 million in each one. And they want to just have access to a stable coin, Bitcoin, and one chain. And they want to offer that to their clients. They won't do that until there's regulation.
There's no compliance infrastructure at the moment.
And they are getting ready for that to happen. Now, if all of a sudden stable coins backed by US dollar were regulated entities, that would open up within 90 days. And so as an investor, I say to myself, do I position myself now or do I wait for the regulation? Because when in a nascent industry, and I happen to believe, and I've said this multiple times, this sector will be the 12th sector of the S&P in 10 years. It will be. As an indexer, I put up to 20% in a sector. So just like I would in energy or just like I would in tech. So why not position myself now? I'm not going to get it right. It's volatile as hell. And some of the stuff I've invested in is going to zero, but not all of it. And so I think I'll do quite well.
Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies are nothing but a decentralized Ponzi scheme.
Yep. So let me qualify my statements on this because I'm an investor in JP Morgan as well. I have a lot of respect for him. He may be one of the most successful banking managers in the history of that sector. However, that was an uninformed statement. And it was not helpful at a time when we're trying to drive regulation through 2 different bills on the Hill right now. I, along with many other private investors, have been spending a lot of time in Washington on this. Essentially what Jamie said there, he was talking his book. This is my interpretation. He feels threatened by some of this technology, particularly around payment systems, because banks make money transferring assets. It's a cost of friction in the system. And one of the only reasons that I invested in Circle, and I'm an investor in Circle, I'm supporting their initiative, and I'm a big believer in what stablecoins can do, is it's time to get rid of that friction. And it's not important that banks be protected so that they can make fees from that friction. When you transfer the US dollar into the Swiss franc to buy Nestle on the Zurich exchange, these banks add 0 value. There's no value created in ACH transfer fees. If we could use a stable coin that was regulated and approved by both sides of that transaction, it would be more transparent, it would be much faster, it would definitely be more productive, but above all, I would save millions of dollars. And so would everybody else. I can't wait till we can do that because that kind of innovation should be supported, and it is. And that's why we're all here. This isn't about, speculation on asset price. This is about reducing the fees of how the world's economies work. More transparent, more productive, completely auditable, regulated, but less expensive. So does Jamie Dimon feel threatened? You're damn right he does. That's a big part of how he makes money. Too bad.
Focused on that, what is the utility that you're seeing today you're willing to place money bets on?
I think we're at a phase now where we've stalled out. I talked about the price of Bitcoin. It's not going to go over $22,000 till we have regulation. There's just no capital to move it. It's going to be stuck in this trading range 18 to 22 for 2 years until whatever the Commodities Act gets done or whatever. And you have to realize that. Now, I will say there's capital still going into Bitcoin miners because they're getting awarded coin at 7,000 to 8,000 if they have scale. So it's still profitable, but nobody will fund the early miners that used carbon-based electricity. So those guys are screwed. It's too bad. But the new projects are ones that are using hydroelectric in places like Norway or solar or So there's still places for capital to go to work, but there's a pause for policy. And it's never has the anticipation been higher than it is now. Everybody is getting bored with the status quo. And the U.S. has to wake up and get its poo-poo together and start regulating this stuff. So I'm not in the camp that says we need to place the original founders of crypto and decentralize and let's fight the government. Screw all that. We know that that's not going to work, and we know that no one's going to make any money if that's the case. That's a bad outcome. A better outcome is regulate the applications on the chains that should be regulated. The policy exists for some of it. Put policy out on stable coins first. I hope that we consider Bitcoin and other token-based opportunities commodities. If there's, if we're going to fractionalize NFTs, maybe there are securities. There's all this stuff. But right now what we have is turf wars. Turf wars between the regulators, openly declaring turf wars with each other right this morning on CNBC. No, it's my domain. No, it's my domain. Of course they want to control it. But at some point, the role of the Hill and Congress is to decide.
It's so cold outside. I'm alone.